Welcome to Swiss Connections HCB. We make your move to Switzerland easy. Today we're going to be sitting down with Maître Gregory Lachat, who's a Swiss lawyer and my business partner. And we're going to be talking about residency, how to apply, how difficult it is to do so, and of course, how to do it and how we do it for you if you want us to. So without any further ado, let's go and sit down with Greg. So Greg, thanks for joining us on the podcast. First question, do we need a visa to enter Switzerland for more than 90 days?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, Richard, for your invitation. It's a real pleasure to be there with you. No, to answer your question, it's not necessary for a US citizen to obtain a visa to enter in Switzerland, and he can stay during 3 months without a visa.
Essentially, we're looking at moving to Switzerland, for example, and we want to be more than 90 days. What are the other requirements to get this visa? You need some money.
Yes, obviously, as you probably know, Switzerland is an expensive country. So if you want to stay in Switzerland, you have to demonstrate to the authority that you have sufficient financial resource to stay without asking for the social security insurance.
And so in that context, is it also something that people do when they arrive in Switzerland? Do they buy houses? Do they rent?
They can buy a house or rent as they prefer. They have the
But
choice.
they don't have to have a visa for that.
No.
And this is where, of course, you come in, Greg.
Yeah.
High court lawyer in Switzerland, and with your own practice and with, of course, our relationship, we've decided to create Swiss Connections HCB. And so that's going to be helping people move to Switzerland and do all of these things. So, of course, the type of residence permits, all of those things are things that you could manage for people. Do you want to tell me a bit more about your background, how you came to do this in the first place? How did you even get to be a lawyer?
Yes, for sure. So I passed my bar exam in Switzerland 15 years ago. And I worked for several law firm in Geneva before, and decided to start my own law firm with my partner 2 years ago. And it's a boutique law firm, and we work essentially in real estate, corporate, commercial contract, and as well legal family office to support and assist people who are interested to come and ask for a residence permit in Switzerland.
So these are things that, of course, you're used to doing on a daily basis.
Sure.
We're bringing our technology, our way of doing business, and working with you on this. But I think the big questions that people usually will have is like, well, how do you actually apply for a visa to Switzerland? What's the process?
Basically, so the process, you have to file a specific application to the cantonal immigration authority. And generally, you have just to provide them with essential information regarding your situation, personal situation.
And so you do this in Switzerland?
Yeah.
So you can travel to Switzerland, and you can do your application
absolutely.
on French, on Swiss soil, right?
Absolutely. Another option is to make the request directly from the Swiss representation in your country. It's another possibility.
But you can do both.
Yeah.
That's quite different to what we're used to, of course, in our French market. And so to paint the picture, you're arriving from the USA, you can actually move to Switzerland and decide, okay, within my 90 days, I want to apply for this residence permit. Is that what it's called?
Exactly.
And the requirements, as you mentioned, are financial. Having somewhere to live, is that something that is required or not necessarily?
No, not necessary.
And from a medical perspective, is there any requirement you have to enlist in a medical private policy?
Yes, basically in Switzerland you have a double system. We can describe it this way. You have a basic health insurance, which is compulsory for everybody, and a second complementary health insurance. You are free to conclude it or not, but you have to know that in Switzerland, the basic insurance protection, health insurance protection, just cover very limited medical treatment. So most part of Swiss people have a complementary health insurance.
And we're going to come to other things like taxes, etc. But one of the questions that I think regularly comes up is, can you move to Switzerland without a job?
Yeah.
But can you also move with a job? And is there a different residence permit for that?
It's the same resident permit, but inside basically, when you arrive in Switzerland and you want to stay Switzerland, you have to request for what we call a B permit. So a request for a B permit, and this permit is valid for one year and can be renewed year after year. Okay, and you have to precise in your request if you want to work in Switzerland, if you are a retired person and you don't request to obtain a work permit. But basically, it's the same permit.
But you've got to basically establish this when your application. And so the follow-up question to that is, how long does it take, do you think, on average?
Depending on the canton, because as you know, in Switzerland, you have several cantons, and there is several immigration authority, and depending in which canton you file your application, the proceedings can last more in one canton than in another. But generally, we can consider that 8 weeks to 14 weeks is it's sufficient time.
But we were talking about this together before this show, is that things in Switzerland work well. They're reliable and they're fairly quick once you've got
exactly.
And you can still talk with people. I think this is another thing that you've got to in our conversations about business is quite important. And Switzerland is a small country,
sure,
and it has specific rules, of course, but there is an ability to navigate that, and of course that's where of course our relationship comes into fruition, and we can do all of these things for people. But generally speaking, the processes work well. I think they're very fair, and relatively speaking, if you've got enough funds to move to Switzerland in the first place, it's a fairly straightforward process with the right guidance. So whether you be working or not working, there are solutions.
Sure.
And is there a way to Swiss nationality from that? Can you stay in Switzerland? Are there language requirements?
To obtain the Swiss citizenship, yes. After 10 years of residence, you can file an application to obtain the Swiss citizenship. And in this specific context, you have to demonstrate that you have sufficient skills in one of the national languages, because as you know, there is several national languages in Switzerland.
Let's repeat these for the viewers, perhaps. So we've got obviously French.
French, yes.
Which you are French Swiss.
Yeah, exactly.
How we met was like speaking
Probably
French.
You are here because of my accent.
Yeah, so Swiss, French, German,
and
Italian.
And you have last languages, which is Romancha.
Okay.
It's a mix between German and Italian.
Yeah.
And this language is spoken in a very
specific region.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the mountains.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah?
Exactly.
So, and let's, for our viewers that are predominantly going to be looking to move from English-speaking countries, so if you're watching this in English today, how well spread is English throughout the country? Is it easy to communicate? Pretty much everywhere.
Basically, in the main city as Geneva, Zurich, Basel, a lot of people speak perfectly English, so it's not a problem to communicate in this specific place. Obviously, if you are a more rural place, it's a little bit difficult, but if you just have some basic skills in French or in German, you can live without problem. Yeah.
So, Greg, I think that's obviously great for the first introduction to Swiss Connections HCB and how to actually get residency. And it sounds fairly straightforward with our help. Perhaps a little bit complex in terms of doing this by yourself. And you'd always, I think everybody moving to Switzerland would always hire, I'm right in saying this, people probably don't do this by themselves. They always hire an attorney at law, a lawyer to help them go through these immigration processes. But what we are going to bring is something a lot more complete, and of course, with all of the savoir-faire of HCB, and much more than just the residency. And so, in the next part of this episode, we're going to talk about taxation and finances. So, guys, thank you for watching. And if you want to tune in for more, our following podcast will dive deep with Greg into the idea of what are the taxes and financial considerations before moving to Switzerland. If you've enjoyed this show, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course share it with anyone else that might be thinking of moving to Switzerland. Again, thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you, Richard.